kiwis travel from place to place?
Yes.
How do they travel?
They use their farts.
They use their farts. And so when a kiwi wanted to go somewhere, he just bent in the general direction and he said, and he would move as fast as his fart would let him go. And because a kiwi is so light and fluffy, it's so easy for them to move, and they would just go. And when they would all get together for birthday parties, they would sing the birthday fart song. And the nice thing about kiwi farts is they smell like coconut, because they eat coconuts all the time. And that's what gives them all the fluffy little gas in their bellies to make them fart coconut farts. And so they would just lean in the general direction and they would just fart. And the way that they would decide who was the king of the island is the one who would fart the biggest and strongest and be able to jump the highest. And they would have a king competition. Every 8 years they would get together and they'd say, let's see who would win the fart contest. And they would all sit around and they would eat lots and lots of coconuts. And they would get their little puckers going and they would pinch really, really tight. And they would sit in the corner and they would just, and they would see who could fly the highest in the sky. And the one who made it to the top of the island and would put his head outside the cloud and he would see outside the cloud, he would be the king. For the next 8 years, he got to be the king. And what the king was able to do was he was able to tell people what to do. He would say, you, little kiwi, you go over here and make me some coffee. And he would say to this other kiwi over here, you, little kiwi, make me a sandwich. And that's what they would do for the king. So for a whole 8 years, he would get to live in kiwi heaven. And everybody would just serve the king, and he would be just so happy, and he would drink coconut milk for breakfast, coconut milk for lunch, and coconut milk for dinner. He was the happiest little fart king in the whole entire world. And so one day the king decided, the new king, Kiwi Fart King, he said, what we're going to do this day is we're going to destroy the monster that lives in the cave on Kiwi Island. And the monster's name was Fart Monster. And so what happened was the Fart Monster would go around and he would eat kiwis for lunch. And what would happen is the Fart Monster would eat a kiwi, and that's what gave him the magical farts. And so for him, the magical fruit was a kiwi, and he would eat up the kiwis, and he would go and he would fart all day long, and he would scare. And whenever you heard a fart monster, whenever you heard a fart monster coming, he would go and he would eat up a kiwi, and the kiwi would be gone, and the fart monster would be rah, rah, rah. I love eating them kiwis, they're so tasty. They taste like coconut. And so they decided one day the king kiwi said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of the fart monster, so let's all go after him. And you know what we're going to do? I decide how we're going to kill him. We've decided. I've come up with a magical trick. And so what they did is all the kiwis got together, all 227,000 of them got over together, and they all went into near the cave where the fart monster lived. Rah, rah, and he was sleeping because he just got done eating a big juicy kiwi, and he was so happy that he wanted to take a nap, and he was inside the cave, and they knew exactly where he lived. So all the kiwis would go up to the edge of the cave, and they would bend over like this and put their little tiny heinies right toward the face of the cave, and they would all say, okay, together, what we're going to do is we're all going to fart together, and we're going to chase out all the oxygen, and we're going to suffocate the fart monster. And we're going to suffocate the fart monster so he can't breathe, and all he's going to have in the cave is farts, and he's not going to be able to breathe any oxygen, and then he'll be dead. And so all the kiwis, they all got together, and they got really close, and they puckered their little puckers, and they just let them rip. And they all took off. They were just one flying through the sky, and all the kiwis, 286,000 of them, went flying through the sky together, and the fart monster was inside, and he heard it, and it scared him so bad that he just died. And that's how the monster died on Kiwi Island.
Okay.